Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. We are waking the world up to what's possible for healing, one brave word at a time. So, a staggering 80% of entrepreneurs report feeling overwhelmed. Could that be stunting your business growth? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And today, it's in terms of business growth. Here today to help me with that mission and to answer some really important questions about growing your business are some of the expert authors of one of our newest books. This is called The Complete Small Business Growth Guidebook: Brave Strategies for Authentic Success. And this book is coming to you from our new publishing imprint called Brave Business Books. I am super grateful and honored to have all these powerful women in my Zoom room today. Ladies, how's it going? How are ya?
Good.
Good. We're going to have some fun today. This is going to be a juicy conversation about so many awesome topics for business. Let me tell you who I have here today. Ann Hessian is the founder of the Solopreneur Success Code, helping healers and I said solo, but she meant soulpreneur. She helps healers and soulpreneurs thrive and make a difference doing the work they love. Deanna Russo has a distinct LinkedIn strategy made up of 3 parts called her LinkedIn Triangle. Deanna works with her one-on-one clients and corporate clients to maximize the benefits of LinkedIn in the fastest way possible. Dr. Deanna Mers-Nagel is a psychotherapist and coach offering psycho-spiritual and intuitive journeys through online teaching and consultation. And I've got Michelle Burke here. She's the owner of Health and Taxes. She's a CPA and tax accountant helping women entrepreneurs in health and wellness better understand their financials and file their taxes timely and efficiently. All right, you guys. Deanna Nagel. I have the 2 Deannas with me this morning, so you guys are going to have to hear last names a lot today. Deanna Nagel is going to start the party off. Tell us why you said yes to this book.
I said yes to this book because I teach a lot of coaches and therapists and healers who are struggling to find their place, their next station, so to speak. A lot of them are transitioning in their career and they're wanting to be a soulpreneur or start a private practice or a group practice. And they have the skill as a healer or a coach or a therapist, but they have no idea what to do beyond that. And I can only touch on that in my courses. And as a therapist, we don't learn it in graduate school, you know. When I saw this book, I just thought, what a great idea for all of us who are light workers in different ways to bring our expertise in one volume.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm in love with this book, you guys.
Yeah.
Deanna, what do you think about that stat I mentioned about overwhelm? Have you been in overwhelm in your business?
Oh, yes.
Trick question, right? Haven't we all?
Yes. And the hardest part of being in business for myself, whether I was running a large agency or just now it's just me, is finding all of the cogs of the wheel. Like, okay, yeah, I need an accountant. I need somebody to help me with social. I need a virtual assistant. I need, and it's hard to connect all those dots if you're not already connected.
Well, not to mention also feel like you can afford it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And you help people with that mindset. So what else do you want them to know about that?
Stay the course. And by stay the course, I mean, especially if you're a soulpreneur, there are ups and downs, especially in how the money comes in. Money is energy. And so if we keep our mindset, even though the money may be going up and down from month to month, the more we keep the mindset, the more the money will find its flow to us. money in the hands of the right people can do beautiful things. So
Hmm.
sometimes it's our lack mentality, poverty mentality, whatever we're bringing to our business is going to show up. So we have to constantly be working on that shadow stuff, make sure we have it in check.
Deanna, remind us of your chapter title.
The name of it's chapter 20, and it's lifelong learning, the key in business growth and evolution. And I believe that the more we learn, the more successful we are.
Perfect. Thank you. Deanna, thank you for saying yes. Thanks for being here today to
Thank
share
you.
as well. All right, more from Deanna in a minute or two, you guys. Lifelong learning. I love that I am one. I think it's the mark of a master. And I think everybody in the Zoom room is one of those. And everyone in the book is one of those people who has dedicated their lives to learning. And it makes y'all a badass. It really does. And you're next on this. Why did you say yes to this book? What's important about this collaboration to you?
I said yes because I know that there are a lot of people out there who are they're healers, they're transformational coaches, they're transformation makers in the world. They're people who they have these gifts that they know are part of why they're on the planet, like it's part of their soul's calling to be here. And there's so much that they can do to help people. And most of them, as Deanna was saying, most of those sorts of people don't have any clue how to have a business doing that. I've in the past 10 years, I've had well over 10,000 one-to-one conversation with energy healers, coaches. I'm not exaggerating. That's like a solid number. Right? And I would, from all those conversations and all the things that I learned from them, maybe 10 or 15% are really making a living doing what they do, right? And that's a number that's really not okay with me. And what I help them do, and I'm an energy healer myself, I'm super woo-woo, I'm all that stuff, but I also know how to sell. Over the course of, the last 20 or so years, I learned how to actually do sales and how to do it in a way that feels authentic, feels right, it's honoring, all of those things that sales can be, but most people don't think it can be. And I firmly believe that being able to sell, being able to like have a one-to-one conversation and make an offer to someone is the number one skill you have to have if you're going to have a business. Like it doesn't matter how much marketing you do and how much you work on your niche and what pretty a website you have. None of that matters if you cannot actually sell what you do. It just doesn't, right? And so I'm really passionate about helping people that are, as I like to say, allergic to sales, helping them get past that so they can actually have conversations and have people say yes and have people pay them. And then they get to make their difference in the world and the world gets better. So that's why I said yes, because I want that to get out to as many people as possible.
Super awesome. Remind us of your chapter title. Do you have it there?
I do. It's chapter 5. And this shouldn't be a surprise after what I just said. It's called Soulpreneurs Who Can Sell Are Changing the World. And that's the truth, because soulpreneurs, healers, coaches who can't sell they're amazing people, but they're not making anywhere near the difference that they want to be making. But the ones who can sell are.
I say this to myself a lot, and I say it out loud to other groups too, but no sales means no lives are changed.
Yep.
And so it behooves everybody to get past the, oh, it feels icky thing, and get to this other side where they're sharing their brilliant, life-changing work. And that was the shift for me. I'm like,
Yep.
oh, if I don't share this, I can't do what I was born to do. What else do you want to tell people about that mind shift?
Yeah, it is a mind shift and it has to happen. When I what one of the things I love about what I do is I do teach people the nuts and bolts. Like I actually talk about like, so they understand how sales works and kind of like what to say and why to say that and everything. Not like a script, but like understanding what it is to help people through a decision process, because that's what sales is, right? But if they don't do the inner work in addition, it doesn't matter that they have the nuts and bolts of the understanding, because they still won't do it, right? If they're still too scared of what people will think, or struggling with their own self-worth about, is it worth it? Is it okay for me to charge this? Can I charge anything? If they're struggling with imposter, all that inner stuff, which manifest as sales is icky. It's not really about sales. It's really about all that stuff underneath. If we don't take that on and actually shift that to where we can actually say, well, how about if sales is what I say it is? How about if I say sales is service? Sales is, compassion and commitment in action. I get to say what sales is. That only comes from you dealing with your own inner stuff and getting past it. But when you do that, then sales is those things. Sales is commitment and action. Sales is connection and human connection. Sales is service. As long as I say that's what it is, then that's what it is when I'm in a sales conversation.
Yeah, and that is a powerful shift. I love it. And thank you for saying yes to this and for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, Deanna Russo, the LinkedIn queen, is going to talk a little bit about her why. Why'd you say yes to this?
One of the reasons why I started my business was I wanted to help people. And with this book, I feel like I'm helping even more people, surrounded by a group of people who also feel so dedicated and so committed to what they do. So it seemed like a no-brainer at the time, because not only is it my very first book, but it's being surrounded by so many amazing people that can help small business owners regardless of what their issue is. It's a one-stop shop for all small business owners. And so it seemed like, yeah, this is just this is a win-win for everyone.
It for sure is. So many wins. Oh my gosh. I've been loving the energy of having us all together and your beautiful, brave words. Can you remind us of what your chapter is called?
It's chapter 17, leverage up on LinkedIn, magnify visibility, and attract the right clients.
So, Deanna, what's your take on the opening stat that I talked about in terms of overwhelm? Have you been there? How have you dealt with that?
Yeah, I'm 4.5 years into this, and there have been plenty of days. But what keeps me going is my clients' words who have gone through my training and have seen differences, have seen the success of it. And so that really motivates me when they find the success. I knew when I started this that it worked because it worked for me, but seeing them have the success, that really motivates. And honestly, if this book, and I feel like this whenever I talk about LinkedIn, if I can help one person, if this book helps one person, and I am pretty dedicated to saying that it's going to help a lot more than just one person. But that feel like I can check the box. If one person gets something from what I wrote or one of the other authors wrote, then we've done our job. But it's going to help a lot of people for sure.
Oh my gosh, you've already helped even our author group and some of the people who have been reading this ahead of time. And right, so we have a whole advanced reader crew, you guys. And I know that Deanna has talked to a couple of my friends since we started this project about their LinkedIn presence. I know that there's probably not just me, but in the beginning, I so resisted LinkedIn. Facebook was kind of a fun, friendly place, and a lot of my ideal clients were hanging out over there. But what I'll say is when I made a switch to LinkedIn in terms of giving some time, energy, and effort over there, the game changed. Do you want to give us a nugget about that head nod, Deanna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, for a lot of people, it's still the online resume. It's still the place where, well, that's not for me because I'm not looking for a job, or that's not for me because I'm not a CEO of a company. There is just so many amazing people on this platform that not only am I teaching people how to use it the right way, but I'm having fun with it too. So it's a win-win because it's just a really fun place to hang out. And the people are all welcoming. They're really awesome people who are on LinkedIn. So it is about your goals, and it is being surrounded by so many amazing people. So just open the door and let them in.
Yes. Yes, I love that. Open the door and let them in, guys. Deanna, thank you for saying yes to this, for being here.
Thank you.
Michelle, tell us a little bit about why you said yes. You know, you've been back now for a couple projects. This business book is a little different for you in terms of the things you've written before. Tell us about your why.
Well, first, thank you, Laura, for inviting me to be a part of this book. My why is I'm very passionate about helping, in particular, women entrepreneurs, a lot of them in the health and wellness business, better understand what is going on in their income statement, on their balance sheet, so that they can make better choices. And if you're making better choices, you're more likely to be successful. And if you're using what Anne's telling you and the other two Deannas to grow your business, you want to also make sure you have a good handle on making a profit and not just being there as a tool, but being there so that you can grow financially, and you can help other people grow as well. So I love being a part of this collaboration. I think it's an awesome opportunity to have all these different sound bites for your business. And it's not just a business that's getting started. It's businesses that have been going for a few years, several years, to take a look at each chapter and say, yeah, I need to build here, I need to refocus there, or what can I learn about what am I not doing with my sales? So
oh my gosh, I so agree with you there. This could be a book for startup people, but it's definitely a book for people who've been in it a few years and you're ready to take it to the next level. I mean, not even one of us business owners can put all the strategies in place anyway. Like, it takes some time and we need to see what we resonate with. But what Michelle's saying about your income, I mean, if that is not healthy and you're not doing the right things for yourself to move forward, I can't remember the stat I used in one of our other interviews. I think it was like 90% of startups fail, you guys. 90%. Like, like Anne said about her statistic. I don't like that statistic. Like, let's change that, right? But Michelle, you might agree with me that it's the finance piece that probably gets people.
yeah, I agree with you, Laura. And so many of us, we're passionate about what we're doing, and we may not be business people, but I'm just going to put it out there. You need to know enough so you make smart decisions. And that's why I'm here. And you don't have to be a numbers person. Another reason I'm out here in a field of sunflowers, so I'm not your typical scary person. I want to be approachable. I want you to be able to ask those questions that you're afraid to ask. There's no dumb question. So it's your business, you own it. You need to make sure it's working for you and it's being successful financially, because if it's financially successful, you can continue it. You can continue reaching more people. If it's not, then you may have to go back to that desk job.
Don't go there. Quick shout out to you, Michelle, for being somebody on my team that has made my life doable in terms of my business. And she's right. she's not that scary. You know, tax people can be a little scary, and the whole like topic can be a little scary, especially when you don't know the questions you should be asking, or you just don't know what you don't know. And when you have someone on your team like Michelle to kind of hold your hand and answer the questions and also help you not feel stupid for not knowing answers and different things, it just makes all the difference in terms of oh gosh, a lot of things, but just feeling motivated and inspired to move forward, keep going with that guidance. So Michelle, thank you for yours in my case. A shout out for all four of you before we keep going with this next juicy question I have for all of you. But, you know, thanks for showing up, but also thanks for taking the challenge of putting your personal stories in this business book. I have this idea about this. It's what I think is missing. If I line up 100 CPAs and I'm trying to hire somebody, it's gonna be the one that shares themselves with me vulnerably, the one that allows me to get to know her, that I am gonna hire. Your personal stories make you the one that gets hired. And I think across the board, we're being so, I don't know what we're not sharing. We're not sharing those personal, vulnerable stories in a way that people really know who we are. And I think it makes the big difference. So thanks to all four of you for saying yes to that challenge and getting that story in the book in a way that people could get to know the human behind the successful business owner. This is so important. And then for our readers, get ready, y'all, because the second part of those chapters is the practical nugget, the experience, the master teachings that you're going to get from these incredible people. You all don't know how lucky you are to get all of them in one book in the generous way they're giving to you. These are their very valuable secrets, knowledge, strategies that they coach people and make money off of, right? And so they said yes to putting that in the book for you, and it's an incredible gift. I am so excited about this book, if you can't tell already. And I'm going to start with you for this next question. I think everybody at a certain point gets stuck in their business. I wonder if you would offer one, I know there's a million, but see if you could think of one strategy you've put into place to help when you feel stuck, when you felt stuck.
There's so many, but
I know.
I'll tell you what came to mind first, okay?
Okay.
Which I think it's getting myself grounded back. The distinction I like to make, because when you feel stuck, that's actually an emotional thing. You're not actually stuck. No one has nailed your foot to the floor. No one, right? It's like you're not, you know, off in the woods with no internet. I mean, if you are, that's something different. But you know, it's stuck is not real. Stuck is emotional. Okay. And so I stop and I get myself to separate facts from feelings, because we relate to stuck like it's a fact, but it's not. So if I stop and I go, okay, I'm feeling really stuck. What's going on? These feelings are happening. Okay, great. I'm not talking about stuffing your feelings. Don't do that. Let yourself feel them, but they're not who you are, and they are not facts. They are just feelings. And then I go, okay, well, what are the facts? What is actually happening right now? What needs to happen? What's in the way? What resources do I need? What's missing? Is there information I need? Is there someone I need to ask for support? Is there like just what are the facts of the situation? And that just immediately grounds me in reality rather than being stuck, which is stuck is just not real. It's not reality. Right? So that is the thing, that is my go-to every single time, because it works every single time.
I love that answer very, very much. I wrote part of the quote down. Stuck is not real. It's emotional, people. So how's that for a ninja move of awareness? Like when we have that kind of awareness, we have a choice. And all of these authors are going to be dropping these golden nuggets. I hope you guys have your pens on your notebooks today. Deanna Russo, tell us your nugget. Like when you have been stuck in the past, What's something that you do to get unstuck?
I feel like I'm going to go back to LinkedIn and say that I have a community of there to support me, regardless of what it is. Having conversations with people on LinkedIn who have already supported me through the last 6 years of me creating content on the platform. I think surrounding yourself with the people who support you is essential. It's important. So even if I'm not getting on a phone call with them, just going back to seeing how I can interact. I'm a people person. So the fact that I can interact like a people person online, just like I do in person, that's those are my people. So
I love that one too. What's the game with the call a friend option? Like it'll get you unstuck immediately if you just remember to reach out to somebody.
right.
Yeah, I love
Right.
it.
You're not alone on the island. You're not.
Yes.
There are people surrounding you.
Love it. All right, Michelle, how about you? Give us another one.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to piggyback off of a lot what Anne said, but what I learned is that pause, just pause. We are so caught up and we're running and we're doing the do that we need to learn to pause. And when we pause, we can take a moment to think through what is reality, what is fact, why am I upset by something? Why am I not moving forward? What is triggering this? And kind of reevaluating where I am and what I need to do and looking at it much more factually. So yes, Anne, what you said, I love. And, but for me, it was just taking that moment to pause and think about it.
This seems so simple, but some days are harder than others. And it is this one, again, I'll just say it, it's a ninja move, man. If you can actually pause, really pause, and get out of your multitasking for a moment and just take that deep pelvic bowl breath. And then, like Michelle said, just look at it, observe, step away, and watch what is happening in your mind and body, right? There it is right there. Like super awesome. All right, Deanna. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Can I just comment on what Deanna said? Because I want to, it's so important, right? And it's so important. And I just want to underline, so Deanna has that because she's built that community.
Mm.
So she knows that that's a community of people she can reach out to who will listen, who will support her, who won't buy her crap, but will totally support her. And I just wanted to say though, because some people listening, maybe you don't have that yet.
Mm.
Right.
Now they
and
do.
So you got to be careful. You need to be mindful who you reach out to. Because if you reach out to someone who is actually going to buy your stuff, buy your crap, that's not actually going to be helpful, right? So I just wanted to throw that in, like reach out to the people who are going to actually take a stand for you.
Yep. So now we have discernment, which is, I think, next level awareness. And it's really like, gosh, there's, level 101 and 102. I put discernment in my 102 book when I think of my own journey and how I learned. So I love that, Anne. Thank you for the addition there. All right, Deanna Nagel. It's hard to go last on this question, isn't it? Because these are brilliant answers. What's another way?
What they said.
Yeah, what they said. And
what do you go first next?
What do you want to add?
Well, for me, it's making sure I'm keeping up with my daily spiritual practices, and which includes community, of course. And for me, it's also really paying attention to my own inner voice and my own intuition, tracking the synchronicities, doing some contemplative journaling and writing. Because when I'm not tracking, that's when I get stuck. And sometimes we don't know we're stuck. Like we don't know that we're not tracking right. And I wrote another chapter about synchronicities. And I believe that when I'm tracking synchronicities, when I'm able to do that, I'm on my path. So when things just kind of go quiet, that's when I feel the most stuck. If I'm just not paying attention, if I'm not being mindful and intentional. Sometimes it's right in front of you and you miss it because you're not paying attention. Yeah. And so ditto. but leaning into it, just leaning into the stuckness, let it, okay, be stuck, pay attention, write about it, pull an oracle card, get woo with it. Yeah.
I love those. Journaling for me is that energy shifter. It will move energy. And if you all pick any practice that moves energy, I love what Anne said, stuck is not real. It's just what you think. We put this word on that feeling. It's a word for a feeling. And if you recognize that and use the awareness tools that you all laid down just now, like boom, you could be unstuck in 1 second. One deep breath will get you unstuck. One, like Deanna said, a sentence on a journal will get you unstuck. I love that you're talking about tracking synchronicity. Just the act of tracking gets you unstuck immediately. You guys are not stuck. So have a new mantra about it, right? Okay. Deanna Russo, what is, I know there's like 100, but what's the one most important thing you want people to know about LinkedIn?
Yeah, there's a lot. This is like asking Anne that exact same question. Narrow down to one.
You're going to give us so much in this book chapter. You just wait, you guys. But if you had to get them started and it was the most important thing they should know, what would it be?
That if you do not sell yourself, who will? That is one thing that I hear from people is I can sell this product. I can sell this service. If you do not sell yourself, then who's going to sell you? So you have to get yourself out there and make sure that people know your billboard and people are driving by your billboard.
Nice. I like that nugget. Michelle, you're going to follow this up. What would be the one most important thing that you want people to know about? In your chapter, it's reducing the tax burden, but in terms of their taxes, what's the nugget?
The nugget really is don't be afraid, and don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't hide your head in the sand. The more you hide your head in the sand, you're just going to get yourself in trouble. So there are people out there like me who can help you, want to help you. Just start asking the questions and moving forward. One of my favorite people who's been in the business for several years, she doesn't look at her numbers until a year later. You're not making good business choices if you're not looking at your numbers timely.
I love this advice so much. I think pausing there just to comment about taxes, financials, spreadsheets. So many of us, especially healer folk, do love to put our head in the sand because we're really good at what we do and we feel like we're not good at the numbers. But what I learned is that's learnable. And I thought it felt like it was a weakness. It definitely didn't feel like a strength of mine in the beginning. But when you get the right team around you to help you, you start to feel better about it. You learn new things and you start to sit up a little taller about it. It's like, oh, I might even be able to help my friend with that one nugget I learned from Michelle. Right. And then you start to help other people. And that's a huge, huge shift. If finances is a thing for you, get help, get better at it. Right. And it will transform your business. So Deanna Nagel, your topic is lifelong learning. What's the big one thing you want people to know about this?
I know that I thought maybe I was the only one for a while, but I know there are many of us out there who use learning as a form of self-care. So if we're not learning, we feel like we're in the desert. And I also know that there are people who want to learn but don't allow themselves to because they're in a 9-to-5 job, or, well, I'm a therapist, so I need specific continuing ed. I can't afford or take the time to go do this thing over here. And so again, it's about paying attention to your intuition, your inner voice. Like, what are you being called to? And sometimes it's what is somebody presenting to you that may be an opportunity, and because of the story in your head, you're not willing to pay attention to that. And so, for me, learning has just been, next to journaling, it's right up there. It's like, and with the internet, we don't have to go any. There's so much to learn right here on the screen. So that's my nugget.
I love it. I love the nugget. You made me think of a moment when I was practicing physical therapy. We had to do 2 continuing education courses every year. And of course, that's like an expense for your license. And so it's easy. And I loved learning, and I did a lot of continuing education. But there was always this moment where I would see a writing course, or I would see this retreat thing that was going to teach me something I was very passionate about. And I would always have these arguments with my ex about spending money on stuff that didn't relate to the Con Ed that would give me my units, that I needed for my license. And I'd be like, but, and then I finally started taking those courses, and it completely changed my life to learn those things.
Yes.
So I highly encourage you, if you heard what Deanna said about that Con Ed thing, like, go have some fun and learn something new. And if it's something you're passionate about, even more reason to spend a few bucks.
Yeah.
And look where you are now, Laura.
I mean, that's the story, right? Like,
yeah,
I know.
Yeah. I mean, the writing and the retreats, look what you're doing now.
I know. I get it. I mean, I look back and I kind of chuckle a little bit, but we're all afraid to invest sometimes. We think we can't afford it. We think a lot of things about money and all of those things, but I'm glad that I did. Went on a couple of writing retreats that really changed my life. Anne, in terms of sales, give us the golden nugget.
All right. So what I want people to know, especially the kind of people who tend to come to me, right? Healers and coaches and soulpreneurs, right? Is that it's kind of a 2-part thing, right? Like, there's no substitute. If you're not willing to learn how to sell what you do, the kindest thing you could do for yourself is to stop trying to have a business, because it's really like, be nice to yourself. Just don't even try.
That's some tough love, Anne. That's some tough love.
Right? Really?
God.
Okay. Or you're just going to suffer for years, and you're going to make it mean something about you personally, or the value of what you do. And it's nothing to do with that. It's just that you got stubborn and you weren't willing to learn sales. Okay. Corollary to that, though, is if you are willing to, sales can be as connected, as juicy, as authentic, as of service, as totally centered in heart and soul connection as your healing work, your coaching work, however it is you make it. Sales can be that amazing, but you do have to learn, like, there's some skills involved. Right? So if you're willing to learn the skills, you can get to where sales is not only something that doesn't feel icky, it's something that you get excited to do. You actually love having those conversations with people, because whether they end up hiring you or not, that conversation is going to make a difference for both of you. So that's what's possible, but you got to be willing to do it.
I hope you all let that sink in just now, because the transformation you can have going from really hating it to absolutely loving it is huge. And every entrepreneur needs to understand this. Every single one of us needs it. And it doesn't even matter what stage of success we are in. It can get better.
Mm-hmm.
So sales, without sales, no lives are changed, y'all. And I love what you said about skills. And for all 4 of you too today, like, you got some skills. And people need skills. They need to learn that next skill to get them to where they want to go. I'm really, really, really 3 reallys excited about what we're doing in this book. I'm telling you, like, I feel like a little kid talking about this book. All right. This is I think, such a great question because we've all been there. Last question for all of you today. Sometimes I walk around my house and I'm like talking to the Laura who started this business back in 2016 for my publishing business. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if you knew what you knew now. So I want to know what you would tell that Michelle. What advice would you give that Michelle?
Advice that I would give that Michelle is that I may be an expert in taxes and numbers, but I'm not an expert in sales. I'm not an expert in LinkedIn. You need to not be afraid to ask for help, not be afraid to show that you don't know something, because a lot of us are those A types. We know everything. We don't. So this business, our business, we have to wear a lot of hats. It's good to know pieces, but rely on other experts.
This is so important. Ask for help. You guys, I've been listening to this course where we're learning about YouTube optimization. And the guy who teaches the course used this phenomenal example of niching. He was talking about your lane. Like, you're good at this one thing, you're going to need help with the other things. But this kind of got me thinking about this lane that we pick to be good at too. And the example was a company that makes the cymbal for a drum set. That's the only piece of the drum set they make. And it's like a multi-hundreds of years old company. It lasted that long because that one thing is the thing that they make. And I've been telling this story since I heard it, because I thought, oh my gosh, yes. Because in the beginning, and Michelle's making me think of this, talking about like, you need a lot of other helpers to do all the other things. Well, if you also try to be an expert in 5 different things in your business, it's going to get pretty overwhelming pretty fast. So like, what's the one thing that you're really great at? All of you do a really great job, and the whole author cast is doing a great job picking a lane. That was my mission. Pick your lane, tell somebody how to make that piece successful, right? Okay, so you got me started on that one, Michelle. Thank you. Deanna Nagel, what would you say to the Deanna who is just starting?
Well, I'm going to get a little personal for a minute. For me, I would have said to her, be sure you are sovereign before you do any of this. At the time, I was in an unhealthy relationship, not throwing blame, but it was unhealthy for both of us. And I was not feeling like I could really truly shine in the environment I was in. And so I did not start shining professionally, at least monetarily. I had a name for myself, but my business didn't really become successful until I did my work and I became sovereign. And for some of us, that means we leave a situation. For others, it means you work it out, within the situation you're currently in. But whatever it is, to me, that's one of the most important characteristics we need to strive for,
Really
especially
important.
as women.
Really important. I resonate deeply with that. There's a place where when that happens, things shift powerfully.
Mm-hmm.
And I would agree probably a lot more women than men, but both. Yeah, I love that, Deanna. Thank you. Anne, how about you? What would you tell the Anne who started her business today? What would you say?
Going kind of way back, like not just this business, but like previous businesses. And the person that so this is to that me, but probably also to for those listening who are those kind of very spiritual, soulpreneur, personal growth people, right? We have this tendency to try to just do all the inner stuff and think that's going to get us there, right? Like I'm just going to clear some more stuff. I'm just going to shift more mindset. I mean, all of that's great. You got to do it, but that won't get you there if you don't also do the outer stuff, right? So I'll just give you a quick analogy because I know this now. I wish I could have told it to myself 20 years ago. Is I think of like succeeding as a soul-centered kind of person. It's like a set of stairs, and with a line down the middle, right? And on this side is all the inner work. We love it over here. We do some more healing, right? All that stuff. And on this side is like the outer, like learning the skills, picking up the phone, right? Having the conversations, getting the support, right? It's the outer work. And you can't go very far on either side without the other side. It just doesn't work. So what the like really soulful people like me are trying to do, way too many of them, think it's like they're trying to go up without ever stepping on this side. So it's like you're trying to jump up a staircase on one leg. You're not going to get far, and you're probably going to hurt yourself, right? So you do the clear, do that stuff first because that's easier for you, right? And that opens up maybe something you can do out here that was too scary for. Now you do it, and you do that, and that, guess what that does? It drives up some more stuff to work on over here. So you do that, and then that opens up another thing here, and you do that, and that drives up some more stuff. But when you go like this, there's no limit. It just keeps going up, and there's no limit to the difference you can make and how much money you can make, as long as you're doing both. But you can't go on just one side. It doesn't work.
Love that way of explanation. I got you. I was just joking in my mind as you were talking about going up a staircase with one leg. I thought to myself, but I'm really strong, Anne. Like,
that's the trap.
I know.
I can do this, right? That's not going to work.
We have all tried it, and it is not a very happy exercise.
Yeah. Well, the more inner focused people are trying to go up on this side on their own. The more outer like the people who are kind of mindset, they're trying to do it all on this side. That doesn't work very well either. Yeah. You really have to do both.
Yeah, I love it. Powerful. Having both is very powerful. It'll get you there way faster. Okay, Deanna Russo, last up on this one. Tell us what you would tell that Deanna.
That consistency is powerful, and you starting consistently, and you just have to keep it up consistently. That is very powerful. And I have a 2-part. The second part is, if you can start a business in a global pandemic, you can do anything. You can do anything. So yeah, it was ridiculous, but I made it.
No joke. I love it. And consistency is super powerful, you guys. I would agree with Deanna. I would agree with all of your golden nuggets that you guys are laying out today. Oh my gosh. Deanna Russo, Deanna Nagel, and Michelle, thank you so much for what you do in the world. And thanks for being here to share it with everyone today, gals. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
It's so great to be here.
So the Complete Small Business Growth Guidebook, you can grab it on Amazon. This will change your life and business, you guys. This is way more than a book, though. It is a generous community. These brilliant expert authors, business owners, I've got them all hooked up with their websites down below. If you had a question from today, I don't know, got some goosebumps about what somebody said, or you just need some support, they're there for you to ask that question and get that support. So I hope you go down and click on their websites and explore and see all of the amazing things that they're up to. And if you're listening in the right timing and you want to come join our book launch party, you can do that on October 31st. You can wear your Halloween costume if you would like. I've got information down below for the Zoom, and join us. We're going to have a massive prize giveaway that night, you guys. You really need to come. And of course, you can hop over to Amazon and grab your copy of the book. We can't wait to hear how you're feeling about the book. Lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it's time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.